Hello everyone, thank you for tuning into this episode of Movie Reviews. Movies with faith-related themes have gained more and more concern in recent years. In this movie, the protagonist goes through ups and downs, but eventually comes out from his plight by relying on God. It is sure to bring hope to and touch many people who are awash in confusion. This is the kind of movie that Child Come Back Home is. Since this movie's release, it has received one award and commendation after another at film festivals in a number of countries including India and the US. At the US Christian Film Festival, it won multiple awards, including Best Educational Film. It tells the story of the high school student Lee Xing-guang who becomes lost in online games and slowly loses himself. After undergoing many twists and turns through the guidance of God's words, Lee Xing-guang finally sees through the essence and the harm of online games and is able to give up his toxic addiction, return to the house of God, and embark on the path of a life of light. It's a true moving story. The mother's recollections scattered throughout the movie provide an account of Lee Xing-guang's internet addiction. He had been an all-around good student who was obedient and mature with excellent grades. He had remarkable musical talent and was very much loved by his parents and teachers. Based on his personality and talents, he should have continued to excel in life, but after becoming obsessed with the internet, he started frequently skipping school to go to internet cafes. He became more and more downcast and degenerate. Without a doubt, this was a dark cloud over his once happy home. His parents did everything they could to supervise him and scolded him. They tried everything they could think of, but nothing worked. They thought of sending him to the addiction treatment center, but were afraid he'd be subjected to inhumane treatment. Their hands were tied. All they could do was send him to an expensive closed-campus private school. They never imagined that he would still skip class to go to the internet bars for online games. This movie is one story that reflects the larger, common societal phenomenon of internet addiction. Because some people lack discernment, while enjoying the stimulation and the pleasure brought by online games, they are also continually poisoned by the pornography, violence, and lies in the games, and then lose a life of proper humanity. The games sap their drive and they no longer want to study or work. Their relationships with friends and family become more and more tepid. They can't even distinguish between the virtual world and the real world. They have become a beat generation. Xing-guang is just one of the many victims of the internet addiction. Parents are always full of love and good intentions. When Xing-guang's parents saw him becoming more dejected by the day from his addiction,
"When will you stop playing these games?"
they felt anxious, but didn't know how to help their son kick his addiction. Where man's abilities end is where God begins. Xing-guang's mother heard from a colleague that believing in God could help children recover from their internet addictions. Hope welled in her heart once again, and she decided to seek and investigate the true way with her husband. The Christians Miss He Jing and her husband talked to them about their faith in God and their personal experience of relying on God to guide their child to believe in God, putting God's words into practice to help their child successfully overcome his or her internet addiction. This was extremely helpful for Xing-guang's parents. Through reading God's words, they came to understand that as parents, they had a huge responsibility when their son was unable to give up online games. They didn't fully see or understand the essence and the danger of online games, so they had no way to properly guide their child. They only had human methods to resolve the problem, but they had no way to truly help him. They particularly could not find a practical path to help him stop playing online games. Through God's words, they also came to understand why the world is so evil and dark, and why our society encourages, develops, and promotes online games, and why so many people are obsessed with online games and are unable to extricate themselves, as well as other issues that have long confused people. The perspective shared in the movie is profound, novel, and thought-provoking. What is really hidden behind online games? As the story unfolds, the once harsh father offers an apology to his son, and both parents earnestly pray for their son. This moves Xinguang. He begins to feel guilty and starts to think about giving up online games. But desire alone cannot triumph over addiction. His words,
"I know online gaming is bad, but I can't stop it. I have to play,"
express the depth of the harm online games do to people and allow viewers to directly experience Xinguang's internal struggle and helplessness. A critical turning point in the movie is when Xinguang's classmate Feng Hao unexpectedly dies in an internet cafe. When a doctor declares him dead, the director zooms in to show the pain on Feng Hao's parents' faces and also gives Li Xinguang a close-up. He's sitting in a chair with an ashen look on his face, shedding tears with a mix of emotions. A young boy like him never imagined that online games could actually cost a life. The ensuing nightmare left terrified Xinguang feeling even more afraid and lost. When his parents consoled him, saying, "Only God can save us from the afflictions of Satan," it was like a lifeline that he seized. After reading God's words, he came to understand that only God can save him. He began to feel regret, and he told his parents that he truly wanted to give up online games and started taking the right path in life. However, he couldn't give them up just because he wanted to. He was tempted by his classmates, so he once again found himself irresistibly drawn to playing online games. After struggling with it a number of times, he couldn't control himself and went out to play, and didn't stop until there was a problem with the computer. Xinguang lay down on his bed, exhausted, and his eyes fell on the book of God's words on his nightstand. The word appears in the flesh. He thought of the promise he had made to God and how he had once again gone back on what he had sworn. Could it be that giving up online games was nothing but a dream? He realized that he needed God's salvation and help. He came in front of God, deeply repented, and asked for God's salvation. God is almighty. These words are said many times in the movie, and Xinguang's subsequent transformation proves their authenticity and reliability. Xinguang underwent several battles in his heart after that, and he prayed and read God's words over and over again. Through what God's words reveal, he realized that what is hidden behind online games is the trickery of Satan. He found that online games are one way that Satan corrupts and harms mankind, and that Satan wants to use these games to control people's hearts, and to infiltrate human beings with things of Satan such as violence, pornography, magic, hoaxes, tricks, and exchanges of money in the games, causing them to become obsessed and unable to extricate themselves and freely satisfy the desires of the flesh, and in the end become distant from God, deny God, and forsake God, allowing them wantonly to be harmed by Satan, which hurt themselves and others, or even lose their own lives. After Xinguang heard the true testimonies of brothers and sisters with similar experiences, and how they had relied on God to break out of the binds of online games, and broken free of their internet addiction, he understood that only by coming in front of God and praying more, earnestly reading God's words, attending more gatherings and having fellowship more, and understanding more of the truth, could he gain more and more discernment, so that he could see through the fact of Satan's corrupt of mankind and understand the value and significance of human life and God's good intentions of saving mankind. Only that way would he have the strength to practice according to God's words, and only then could he gain God's protection, see through Satan's tricks, and shun the harmful evil trends. This was the only practical path to help him fully kick his internet addiction. Towards the end of the film, the director makes use of two bridge scenes to portray Li Xinguang's determination to give up online games. One scene takes place after class when classmates invite him to a competition of online games with them, and Xinguang flatly refuses their temptation. In the other scene, Xinguang resolutely rips up a poster advertising a game. His words,
"I'll never game again,"
particularly express his strong desire and determination to completely give up online games. The clips of Xinguang integrating into church life allow viewers to see that he has become a completely different person. Lee Xin-guang gradually giving up online games has really spoken to the hearts of many people, and it has ignited hope for many who are wandering and confused at a cross in the road of life. Xin-guang went from an internet-addicted, rebellious teenager to a positive, sunny one, successfully turning his life around. This allows everyone to see the authority and power of God's words, and understand that only God's words can change human beings, and that only God's words can guide us onto the right path. This points the way for everyone who is deeply afflicted by the harm of online games, and brings hope for parents who are in pain and helpless, whose children drag their feet and cannot give up online games. This is a very beneficial movie for all of society and the entire mankind. Only God can save people from online games, to cast off Satan's corruption and affliction. All parents are hoping for their lost children to come back home, and God hopes even more. This is the most important message of the movie for viewers. Thank you for watching this episode of Movie Reviews. See you next time.